What is going on, all you minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today for an advanced look at the Batman the Demon Trilogy, oversized hardcover from DC Comics. So, please stay tuned. Okay, so let's get this episode started. This was one of my most anticipated collected editions coming out in 2020. I got a little worried when it was canceled, but they resolicited. It is supposed to come out on September 23rd at your direct market, so places like cheapgraphicnovels.com, Tales of Wonder, in-stock trades, and of course your local comic book shop. One of my favorite things that they've done with this edition is that they've kept the same dimensions that these books were originally printed in. So it's this magazine size. So of course, what is an overview without a size comparison? Here it is, compared to the size of the Legion of Superheroes Omnibus. So you can tell the Legion is just a little bit taller than the Batman hardcover. However, since it's magazine size, the Demon Trilogy is longer than this omnibus. By the way, I'll be doing an overview of this omnibus later on this week on the channel, so keep an eye on the channel. Here it is compared to the size of a trade paperback. This is an Epic collection, so these books are thick, but I just wanted to show you a size comparison between the two. And a quick size comparison to another book that could be this size, but it's actually a little taller and just a little bit longer than this particular hardcover, and that is, of course, this beautiful Harleen book. But let's go back to this. What is Batman the Demon Trilogy? What does this particular hardcover contain? What makes this so special? Why was I so excited? Well, this contains 3 stories, 3 original graphic novels that were released in this format, this magazine-size format. I think at first they were hardcovers, and then they made soft covers. There was a trade paperback collection, and it's been long out of print. But this makes me excited because this is the true sequel, the true follow-up to the Ra's al Ghul stories collected by Dennis O'Neil. And yes, he had shown up in the comics before this and in between his first appearance and this, but this is a direct follow-up to those stories. And I'll talk about why here in a second. Let's look at it under this dust jacket. I think that was the cover that I used to have. Demon Trilogy. Then, of course, Talia and her father, Ra's al Ghul, the Demon Head. Hence the name, the Demon Trilogy. Let's get this open. Alright, so let's go ahead and open it up. We have these purple bookend pages. Batman the Demon Trilogy. And here's an introduction by Mike W. Barr, talking about how surprised he is that these books will be in print still to this day. And I remember that cover. That is the cover for the Son of the Demon hardcover when it originally came out. And here are the credits. Mike W. Barr, Jerry Bingham, who did the art and the colors, and of course John Costanza doing the letters. Mike W. Barr is the gentleman that gave us Batman Year 2. And I know how some people feel about it, but I still think it's a good story. So Son of the Demon, the very first story collected in this collection, is the story, of course, of the return of Ra's al Ghul to my favorite Batman villain. I know, yeah, everybody loves the Joker, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and the Riddler, but to me it's always been Ra's. Like, he's just phenomenal. And pretty much this is the story of how Ra's and Batman kind of team up because they're both looking for the same character, the same person that killed somebody in Gotham and then also turns out to be the person that killed Ra's wife, the one that Talia is the daughter of, who happens to be his favorite daughter. And there's some things that have always happened between Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Talia, right? There's always been this sexual tension between both of them. They've had a romantic past, and this one kind of puts it really on the table. Both of them get together. Of course, things can never stay the same, and thought I had to edit there. Thought there was about to be some sexy time. But I was going to say, the end result of this is, of course, the title, Son of the Demon. Is that Damian Wayne, or is this even in continuity? I think it is now. I think it's safe to say that the character, the child that appears at the end of this, is Damian Wayne. I think most people would say this is now in continuity, which is great, because there for a long time, this was like, no, this didn't happen. It's a controversial story. This could not have happened. Bruce Wayne does not have a kid with Talia. So let's look at the second book, because that's all I will really say about the first. And just to keep you in suspense and not spoil anything, even though this story came out over a few decades ago, I am censoring that final page to show the cover of Bride of the Demon. This was the follow-up, written by Mike W. Barr. Tom Grinberg, which you all have heard me talk about him. Oh, I didn't know. Maybe that's his lady, his wife, or his daughter, Eva Greinberg. Did I pronounce it Grinberg and Greinberg? What the heck is wrong with me? And Caspar Saladino. I know how to pronounce my Latin names, though. So, Tom Greinberg, he's the gentleman that I know a lot of people have issues with. It's either love or hate. I happen to enjoy his artwork, especially during that Mignola phase that he had. I did show his artwork off in those issues of Silver Surfer, and like I mentioned, some people have issues with that. I happen to enjoy that kind of art style, but that's just me. It's like a mix between Mignola and Frazetta. But anyway, enough about that. He's the artist on this book, and obviously his art looks a lot different back here in 1991. Again, Mike W. Barr. This story is a little bit different than Son of the Demon, even though this is a follow-up to that. So it's the return of Ra's al Ghul, of course, and he's got a new diabolical plan to kind of get rid of a lot of the population here on Earth. And he wants to make Bruce Wayne, Batman, his heir. Of course, he's always had a thing for him. They have a mutual respect. On top of that, he also has a new bride that's with him. So Ra's al Ghul's got himself a lady. And the least I say about it, the better. I'll let you all make up your mind. There are people that love this story, hate it. They think it was a good follow-up. But this is not a review of the story. Now, to talk about the third book. Again, censoring that final page of Bride of the Demon to talk about this cover by Norm Breyfogle of Birth of a Demon right here, which was written in 1993. And immediately you should see that it is now Dennis O'Neil that is taking on the writing duties of this trilogy, or the third in the trilogy, rather. Norm Breyfogle supplying the art and the color, and oh my gosh, I know it's not a review of the book, but there's sometimes I can't help it because this is the best Norm Breyfogle, and I'm a huge fan of his stuff. And Ken Bruzenak is the letterer. So this is the guy that created Ra's. He's the guy that created Ra's al Ghul and the Demon Head and Talia. He comes back to write the story, right? And he uses this particular graphic novel to write pretty much the origin of the character of Ra's al Ghul. So there's a bunch of flashbacks to an earlier time before he became the Demon Head. And the least I say about this one, for sure, if you've never read it, you're in for a freaking treat. This alone, to me, is worth the price of admission. And that price, it is kind of pricey. The retail price is $75. It has 302 pages. But, damn, this story has been out of print for years. And even the trade paperback went for ridiculous amounts of money. If you keep up with collected editions and how much they go for in the third-party market, they get ridiculous. But I'm glad it's back in its original format, the size, dimensions. So now you get to experience this for the first time or relive it again. Let me know in those comments down below, though, which one of these three stories is your favorite. As far as the paper quality, before we look at the extras, if there is any extras, it's this thick, semi-glossy paper. You can probably tell that as I'm flipping through here. Let's look at the extras in the back. So you have some Jerry Bingham sketches right there. This amazing wraparound cover from Son of the Demon. Remember that soft cover? It was a comic book size. It wasn't even a trade paperback. This is by Andy Kubert. Here are some sketches for the wraparound cover by Jerry Bingham. The introduction by Mark Hamill. This is to the original 1987 deluxe edition. Then you have unused promotional artwork, Batman Bride of the Demon, and then the pinup from the Comics Buyer's Guide. Here's the wraparound cover from Birth of the Demon, which they use for this collection right here. Norm, man, the guy was a legend for a reason. And of course the biography of where you can find these people's work. It is glued binding, however. There is no eye, no inner spine. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But as you can see, as I was flipping through here, the book does lay over rather nice. And that's probably because it has only 304 pages. I mean, we're looking at the the third or fourth page. Of course, it's got a little bit of a curve right there, a little gutter curve, not very much. Not that there's a lot of splash pages, of course. Maybe towards the back there definitely is, but I can't show the one that I want to show because it's part of the ending of this story. Okay, we're getting close to the ending of the book, but this is pretty much the only splash page I can show towards this part of the book because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But as you can tell, it doesn't really have much of a gutter loss. It's very, very minimal because of that gutter curve. But that's something I do want to point out for those people that are sticklers for that stuff. But that, as they say, is that. Now, you can pick this book up from our sponsor
at cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. And for you mentees, Cheap Graphic Novels is running a special promotion. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was the content, the page count, and of course, the build of this particular hardcover. Let me know in the comments down below if you've never read these, if you are going into these for the first time, if this is your first taste of some of these classic stories, where at least I think they're classic. If you didn't even know what this was until you watched this episode, or if you're just gonna pass up on it, I would still love to know all those comments down below. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. As I mentioned, I will be doing the Legion of Superheroes 5 Years Later Omnibus sometime later this week, maybe even this weekend. Gotta focus on that X Factor reading order, but just want to say one more time, thank you all for watching. Please take care out there, stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.